Hello, hello, I'm the official name raider. My job is to look through the first page of Google, review the nicknames provided by the internet, and then give my recommendations at the end. We've been looking through the evolution line one at a time because it's a very big family, they're all incredibly diverse, so this one is just going to be Flareon by itself. Let me take a look. Pokemon Go is interfering with a lot of these suggestions. And then the Reddit was going to be the other thing I was going to mention. If I had to go out of my way for it, I would. But it's right here in the results, so I don't have to. So, just like the rest of them, this one's pretty popular in Nick Finder, so we're going to go ahead and go over stuff. Flareon is not a phoenix. That might be better for something like Talonflame or Moltres that are birds. Ruby is going to fit with the Jewel thematic that we've seen in previous episodes where, like, Jolteon's Topaz, Vaporeon is Sapphire, so Ruby will work. We're probably going to see other suggestions for red-colored gemstones for Flareon. I'm fine with this motif. I like it. I think it's really clever. I probably would use it if I didn't already have other things in mind for other evolutions. Scorch is okay as a generic fire-type nickname. You could apply it to anybody. And that's it. That's it. Nothing else on here is any good, like, at all. So, yeah. So, Nova was the one that I used temporarily. I liked it, and I think it's an okay name, but I also think it's a very generic fire-type nickname you could apply to anyone. So, I will acknowledge Nova, but I came up with a better suggestion myself that I like way, way more. But Nova was what I used for Flareon for a time. You know, his reasoning behind why he chose the nickname is absolutely terrible. Because the only reason I'm even acknowledging this at all is because Pyro is the nickname that the Eevee brothers used in the anime. As we know from Pokemon Go, that's how you turn your Eevee into Flareon, but you can only do it once. I think it's a crap nickname in general, but all the Eevee brothers have terrible nicknames, so there you go. It's only good for the novelty of it, and if you weren't going for the novelty of it, you just picked a bad nickname because you have bad taste in nicknames. Fahrenheit, generic fire-type nickname. You can pair it with Celsius if you want. It works all the same. There's nothing too special to say it. Put it on the bingo card. I don't think I have Rapid Fire on the list, actually, of generic type-based nicknames. But I wouldn't give it to Flareon because Flareon has bad speed. If you wanted to give it to, I think Rapidash would probably be a good choice. Well, if it weren't, never mind, fuck it. Not Rapidash because Rapid's already in the name. So that's a terrible option. But any other fast fire type nickname that doesn't have the words Rapid or Fire in its name would probably be a good choice. It's actually weird to me how all the Firefox jokes get thrown onto Ninetales, but very few get thrown onto Flareon. But the Firefox jokes can work here for Flareon as well. Oh, that's why I have Bloodberry on my list. Okay, I was wondering, because I was thinking about this, and I wasn't sure why. Because instinctively, I start, like, my mind, because I'm a fucking nerd, thinks about the Bloodberry Katana from No More Heroes, but that's blue in color. So, I really like that idea, and actual Bloodberries in real life are red in color, so, you know, doesn't really matter, but I really, really like this nickname, mostly because of No More Heroes, and I also think you could, take other of the beam katanas and work that in there. Like, I'm interested to think on how I could make Rose Nasty work, because I feel like Rose Nasty could work with Flareon because of the coloring, but at the same time you're probably going to say Rose Raid, but that's also just a dumb choice because it's in the name. But you get the point. I like the nickname Bloodberry. I think it's really good. Yeah. Mars, that's, there's the planet motif we're going to see on the Reddit post. Dude named a bunch of his Eevees after planets. Mars is literally the perfect choice for Flareon because the coloring and it's just what you would naturally think of upon looking at it. It makes sense, it works, and I know Homeboy had his as Mars as well, so yeah, we'll see it again. I've seen Calcifer a few times, and like apparently it's some character from some show that I've never heard of. So I'm only acknowledging it now because it's starting to get on my nerves. I'm tired of seeing it, so I guess it means it's important to some degree, so there you go. That's it. Everything else on here is either incredibly boring or incredibly bad. The one that annoys me the most is Soulline. Soulline is just in general a bad name because, like, firstly, it sounds stupid. Secondly, if you're going to use solar, it's going to imply more grass types than fire type. I understand the sun, blah, 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 but that's why Solar Beam is a grass move and not a fire move. And then the idea that it's kind of accepted that these are foxes. Here, just to acknowledge this guy's post and point out Flareon is in fact Mars, so there's that. I really like this one, and I've seen this a few times, so, you know, there's no wow factor between it, but he goes with Carmelita after Carmelita Fox from Sly Cooper, and there's me doing this way I don't have to save the image and put it in the video. It's right here so you can see it. I do like this. I like the idea of it. Like, I know there's the gender thing in it, so it's like that slightly bothers me, but at the same time I don't know many Carmelitas just in real life, and I feel like it's a very uncommon name, and it's a fox, so like I'm giving it a pass, but a soft pass. So I was thinking about Ambrose a few times, and like I assumed it had some sort of deeper meaning to it, but it doesn't. And if you look it up, it just says like, yeah, it means immortal. And it's like, I first learned the name, I guess, from Dean Ambrose. So I kind of associated with that, and I'm like, when I saw this, I thought it had something to do with fire, but I guess it doesn't. But I do think the name Ambrose just in general is pretty okay. So that's about where that ends. I don't Xenoblade, but I'm going to acknowledge Pyra at the same time, though. Pyra is just a very female version of saying Pyro, which we've already gone over, so I don't think it's great at all, but if you're a Xenoblade nerd, there you go. Just saying, if you want this Bernard joke to work better, you should have spelled it with a U, so this way it at least translates. Or like, maybe be really obnoxious and capitalize the word burn in all caps and then ard in lower caps. And then like you can actively be as annoying as possible when you send it out. Just saying, I don't know why they went with Kane for Jolteon, because I think Kane would actually work a little bit better with Flareon, as it resembles the colors and fire and stuff like that. I'm assuming they're not talking about the wrestler, but that's kind of where my mind thinks of, and I don't know any other Kanes in the world. Not spelled like that, at least. Okay, so that's at the bottom of Google, and despite, it's weird, like, I feel like there's actually a lot of really, really good nicknames for Flareon, but when you click on stuff like this, or this, like, the options are either terrible or non-existent, and it's really weird, because I know there's a lot of good options for Flareon, because I have a bunch written down. But before we go over that, we gotta check the spreadsheet. Okay, so the only things really I think worth talking about on here are kind of just the gemstones, and that's it. I'd prefer ruby over garnet, but yeah, and then I kind of want to talk shit about orange being an electric color, because like electricity's not orange, but there's a lot on here to go over. So I really, really, really like Bloodberry. That's one of my favorites, just for a nickname for a Pokemon I've seen just in general. So I like that one a lot. I like Carmelita Fox. We've gone over the gemstones, we've gone over the planets, so Mars is fine. Nova is what I used to use. And then I remember seeing this in previous episodes, and I'm kind of sad we didn't get to see it. It was something about like Pokemon Go, and they're naming their Pokemon like puns and stuff like that. And one of the guys like, yeah, I know what you mean, and then he shows a picture of his, and it says Rick Flareon, which I think is hilarious, and we have a lot of wrestling going on today. But yeah, that's a pun joke after the wrestler Ric Flair, so I really like that one. I think that one's really funny. But the one I personally use is Varia. I just randomly, I don't know why, but I thought of the Varia suit from Metroid, and I just thought of the color, and I think it was because a very, very long time ago, I bought a Metroid shirt, and the color was described as Varia Red. So I just kind of thought about that, and Flareon's red, and you could really apply it to a lot of them. But I think it works a little bit better with fire types, considering the Varia suit is for like heat immunity. So that I think works well, and I just wanted, I don't know why, but for whatever reason, I just thought it fit Flareon best, so I went with that. And that's the one I personally use, and I think it is incredible. I love that nickname. I'm happy I thought of it myself, and I'm happy nobody else has ever done it, because that means I get all the credit. Ha 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 ha. But in general, I do think there's a lot of good Flareon nicknames. It's just weird that when you look at like an actual forum discussion and people talking about it, all the suggestions are crap. So it's like, there's good nicknames out there, but if you have a conversation with somebody about it, you're not going to get a good nickname, period. And I don't understand that. But provide your own ideas and suggestions for Flareon in the comments below. Give a thumbs up to the ones you think are good. Let's keep the discussion going. I think Flareon was the best out of the 3 Kanto evolutions. I'm not going to do the rest until it is their turn, so don't expect to see Espeon, Umbreon anytime soon. Not till we reach Johto and get to them in the National Pokedex.